Hey everybody, Tyson Colby here with Accutroll. Got another video today for you guys, and we're going to talk about the remote control, the Bluetooth remote control. I'm just going to take a few minutes to go top to bottom about how this thing works, how you pair it to the phone, and how you configure the user mappable buttons 1, 2, and 3 to trigger your macros. And how to script those for creating different profiles, like modulating the speed over time or making one-shot actions where you stall the motor and then bring it back to where it was, all that stuff. So I'm going to take a few minutes and just go over all the settings for this guy. All right, guys, I got my Accutroll app open. I've got the Bluetooth remote. Step one, actually I'm going to back up. First step is a concept I want you guys to understand, and that is that this Bluetooth remote pairs and binds with your smart device directly, and then the app is translating button presses over Bluetooth into the correct commands and controls over Wi-Fi to the throttle controller. This remote does not connect directly to the throttle controller, so what that means is that the app always needs to be up and running and in the foreground for it to be able to translate your button presses into actions that reflect on the throttle controller. Okay, so the second thing now we can talk about pairing it into the app. So easy to do, bottom right corner, hit the plus, say add remote. You can read through this text, but what it says is that make sure that the remote is on in advertising before you hit scan. So to do that, I press any button on the remote and the play pause button will blink blue. That tells you it's advertising. It's hard to see in the video, but it is. So I hit scan. There, it found it, tap it, and that's going to start the pairing process. Sometimes it doesn't pair the first time, just give it another try, make sure it's advertising. In this case, it did, paired successfully. I hit back, and now you see we have the throttle controller, or I'm sorry, the Bluetooth remote on. You see this little Bluetooth icon here. It's glowing green, hard to see, but it is. It means it's connected and ready to go. If you're for this to work, you need this thing connected into the app and before you hit the throttle control module and open up that UI. So the next time you come out to the boat, I'm going to tap it once just to disconnect to demonstrate. You see there's a slash through it now. So now the remote is not connected. So the next time you come out to the boat, you got to first make sure this thing is talking. Just tap it again. There, it's connected. Now when I hit throttle control module, it will be able to listen to my button clicks. So out of the box, plus and minus increment your throttle set point by 1% and 5%. So here's 1, and a double click is 5. Okay, brings me to another point. All the buttons are single click and double click. So the plus and minus buttons for adjusting your throttle set point, single click, double click, do different actions. You can override that in the settings. The play pause button, which translate to idle and resume. Let me get this thing up. A single click always goes to idle. A double click resumes. Okay, I'll show you again. Single click to go to idle, double click to resume. Same thing goes with the speed lock button here. So I'm going to get us going manually by triggering this paddle wheel. I'm like, okay, I like the speed we're going. Lock it. Single click, locked in our speed at 3.1. That's just like hitting cruise on your car. And a double click will undo cruise control button. All right. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to set up these user mappable buttons 1, 2, and 3. Each, again, single click and double click. So you have 6 slots total to assign presets, single actions, or repeating macros. So if I go and hit triple dot, say configure, you see I've got 1, 2, 3, that's 1, 2, 3, and I got the minus and plus buttons here that if you want to override their default behavior, you can do that. But I'm going to go into button 1. I'm going to set up a single press to set my favorite trolling speed. So I'm going to say set cruise speed absolute, and I'm going to set it to 2 miles an hour. Now we have a single preset tied to button 1. So demonstrate that. I press button 1, it goes to 2 miles an hour. Oop, I just shut it off quick. Button 1, 2 miles an hour. I'm going to go in, button 1, configure a double press to be, I'm going to program this one to be a program stall. So set throttle absolute, already set to 0. I'm going to keep that. But now I see this add action. I'm going to add an action, and I'm going to say wait for. In this case, for the demo, I'm going to just say 3 seconds, but you can make that much longer. And I'm going to add one more step, and that's going to say set my throttle, reset throttle to initial state. So that means put it back to the position it was prior to pressing the button. So this has 3 actions assigned to the button double press of 1, and it's going to execute once through those instructions and stop. So we're going to throttle control module. Say we're running along, say at 45%, and I want to hit that stall. I double click 1. It goes to idle. 3 seconds later, it should pop back to where it was. Now, you saw that blue spinner that showed up on the screen. Macro running. Tap anywhere to cancel. That tells you a background process is running. And I'll show you that. I can illustrate that a little bit better in the next step. One more example. Button 2, single press. I'm going to show you how to modulate your speed up and down and have that repeat. So this is a repeating macro. In this case, I'm going to say set throttle relative, and I'm going to say increase the throttle by 10%. Then I'm going to add an action. I'm going to say wait for 3 seconds. Then I'm going to add an action. I'm going to say reset my throttle to initial state. Add another action. Wait for 3 seconds. Add another action. Set throttle relative, and I'm going to make it negative 10%. Add an action. Wait for 3 seconds. Add an action. Reset throttle to initial state. One more. Add an action. Wait for 3 seconds. And here's the last instruction. Repeat macro. So I've just assigned this whole series of instructions that's going to execute in order, and then when it gets to repeat macro, it's going to start from the top again. So this is we defined a whole cycle, and I'll show you how that works. We'll take it up to 50% so it's easy to see. So we should go from 50 to 60, back to 50, down to 40, back to 50, and that thing should just keep repeating. So here we go. Single click. There it goes, up to 60, back down to 50, down to 40, back up to 50, and then it's going to just repeat. And so it's going to run that series until you cancel it, and you can cancel it by tapping anywhere on the screen or hitting any button on the remote. Okay guys, that's the Bluetooth remote. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can email us at support@accutroll.com, and I'll put a link in our description here that is to our documentation site, docs.accutroll.com. And there's a whole bunch of guides and other information there that you can find. Thanks for watching.